So next we're going to try to fill in some of the holes in the eye membranes. Like, it looks really stark against the now really white skin. So go ahead and use the same process as you used for the foundation, but apply it in a smaller scale. And I would go, using your white makeup, go a little bit lighter than your skin, using your hand palette again. Pick up a little white. You can see it's a little bit lighter. Keeping it nice and moist so it'll blend. Come in and do some fine detail work around your eyes, just to fill in as much of those pink areas as possible. And then powder over the whole thing. Close your eyes and look up to get a little better access to the under part of your lid. And it takes care of a lot of the pinkness. Next, I'll do one side for the men, one side for the ladies of what looks I want to achieve. Ladies is just a basic smoky eye. I sent you a tutorial about it, or I will send you a tutorial about it in a little bit, but just basic smoky eye with cat eye detail liner. But for the men, looking for my brush here, just use this little oval flat brush, your eye makeup palette, and use the medium gray here. And what we're going to do is contour the eye socket, and that's the part between the brow bone, I'm going to do that on this eye, the brow bone and the lid. And that's just to deepen it so we can see that you actually have contours on your face instead of just a flat white mask, which it'll look like on stage. So you just start by gently pulling the pigment into the crease. You have to get a good amount on it. Scrape, let me see, scrape some pigment up and then kind of blot it up with your brush and use your palette again to kind of tap it off a little bit so you don't get crumbs everywhere. Let's continue that process until you have a good amount. Don't be afraid to go pretty dark on this, because again, the lights that we have are going to wash you out, as well as the stage in general. It just washes out any features, so we want to define them as much as possible. Get right down there to the corner of the eye, and even into the nose divot right there too. And that'll make it look like your nose is contoured as it should be. Just continue blending so there's not a stark line, but it's a nice soft gradation up through the brow bone. It takes practice, but you'll get it. Then I like to hit the upper brow with a little bit of white. I don't know if it makes that much difference, but I like to think so. and then some of your lighter gray right there on the lid. There you have an eye that looks a lot more contoured. It looks like I need to pull that through just a little bit more. Just about to the end of your eyebrow. So for the ladies, it'll be just a basic smoky eye, a little more dramatic than the men's, so it looks like you're wearing period makeup, only in grayscale, which they might have done anyway for a smoky eye. So I like to start in the crease with a little darker, the darkest one we have there, the black. And do the same thing as the men in the crease. Maybe use the darker gray to pull it into the nose. Do your best to blend that in. I'm not doing a very good job. It's better. Then use that same medium gray that I was just using to contour the nose to kind of blend the whole thing up through the brow bone. And you'll want to go a little bit higher on this to contour the brow bone so it looks a little more dramatic. See how that kind of curls up underneath to a point? And then highlight the same way as the men up on the brow bone. That is the men's side. Then with the darkest black, fill in those eyebrows. You can use the eyeliner pencil as well, but I like the powder. It provides a little bit better coverage personally, but I don't care what you do. And smudge it along with the way the hair grows. There. And we'll deal with the liquid eyeliner in just a second. Let's do a little more contouring with our eye makeup palette, which is kind of an all-use palette at this point, but I'm alright with it. So the basic concept of contouring is to hit the valleys of your face with darker and the higher peaks of your face with lighter stuff so they have a bigger contrast. So with that medium gray, come in and I keep tapping it off just so there's not a lot of pigment in it again so it doesn't crumb up. Hit the valleys of your face pretty good with the gray. And again, it's a lot different closer up. On stage it washes out a lot. So don't be afraid to go a touch darker than you'd normally go when you're looking in the mirror. The same thing with the corners of the nose. Just that natural corner. Pull that through. And use the powder brush to blend it a little more. So it softens out the edges. I like to put just a little through there to kind of make the lip pop out a little bit. Usually I do this with brown or like a tan, a little slightly darker than my skin color, but since we're in grayscale, it's going to be gray. Okay, looks good. Now we'll move on to the eyeliner, and using your black pencil, for the men's side, it's going to be just a basic rimming of the eye, trying to cover up just a little bit more of that pink membrane underneath the eyelid, as well as kind of darkening the upper eyelid, just so your eyes stand out a little bit more. So, I like to take my finger and stretch this so I have a little bit tighter of a surface to work with. Just really, really thinly, make sure it's nice and sharp. Go along with the edge of the pencil and smudge it into the lash line. Not too heavy at all. Do the same thing with the bottom lid. And pull it down just a little bit so you get a little bit more of that membrane. Again, don't share pencils because it's all up in there. So there's the men's side. For the ladies, just hit it with a lot of liquid eyeliner. Do that little swoop cattail detail. I'll show you how to do that, just to get that glamorous 1950s look. And be sure, ladies, to go ahead and hit that lid the same way as the men did to cover up the pink bits. And then hit the whole thing with mascara. A lot of mascara, ladies, don't cheat me. And curl them too if you have a curler. Or use false ones. Men too. But you don't have to cake it on like the ladies. Make sure, the ladies, you get all those little tiny ones in the corner of your eye. Both the corners. And all the way to the tips.